Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and we are going to do a very quick weekly roundup here because I have been gone far too long, and I need to, once again, I was going to say beg your forgiveness, but I've already said this kind of is the summer of spending time with the family, and on top of that, I was not feeling well. I had a really bad vertigo attack yesterday and was just like taken down. So yeah, that was not fun. But I do have some things I wanted to share. We were out and about quite a bit last week, so I didn't get tons of crafting in, but I'll share with you what I do kind of have to share. I did finish one project, but it's in a bag, so I'll share that finished object when I get to it. Other than that, we're going to go through my whips and quickly through my books. I didn't even do my normal intro. Hello! This is my abbreviated weekly roundup. Yeah! Where we go through my week in crafting, my whips, works in progress, FOs, finished objects, and the book I'm reading. Okay, so first let's start with the door is open. Let's close that before the cat walks in. I am still a little bit off today, so I'm going to try to take spinning gingerly. Let's talk about the Aberdeen wool pickle jar kit. So this is the Tangled Poets Minis Aberdeen wool pickle jar kit. You can get this from Aberdeen Wools. I did check their website. Things are a little confusing with what's going on. I saw she posted on Instagram something about a yard sale, an in-person yard sale, cash only, where she was selling a lot of her stuff, but things were still available online. You could get the pickle jar. These are hand-dyed 5-gram micro minis. They're about 20 yards a piece, and you could still buy the refill kits. So I did go ahead and place an order for a refill kit, so I'll have that ready when I finish this to do my next project. Also, I wanted to support her in everything that's going on. I'm crossing fingers that she gets to keep her sheep. That would be wonderful. Anyway, so I did put my mini in from last week. This is the one we ended up picking off camera. It's kind of a red, white, and bluish feel, and I think it looks nice. We're getting kind of to a funky section of the cowl, which really I think is fun. So that's how long it is. Remember, this is going to go like this. Think more infinity scarf than cowl. There we go. The kids, I'm slipping this in now because Brian took the kids to the zoo, so no one is here to pick the next mini. So let's just try to dump one out. My hand, it doesn't fit in the jar anymore, so we'll see which one I get. There we go. Purples. Shades of purples. I think that's going to look really nice with the last one. So, yay! That is what I will do. Okay, so I said I wasn't going to spin that much, and then I just totally spun a lot, and my head's saying no thank you. Okay, so if my eyes start going funny, that's the vertigo. I apologize. I'm just letting you know if you see it. What's up next? Okay, so I finished that, which meant I had time to work on my sock yarn project. So in this little bag, I'm putting all of the itty bits of leftover sock yarn I have, and I am using a 2mm crochet hook to make an ever-expanding granny square that's kind of a memory blanket of all the sock yarn I've used. So here we go. I'm getting that out and doing a little work on it. One thing I've noticed is this Hobby Halloween glitter sock yarn is a much thicker yarn than the other sock yarns I've used. So I'm a little concerned if it's going to warp my blanket a bit, but I think it's going to be fine. I'm turning the back side. I think it's going to be fine. It's just a crazy granny square that I'm going to keep adding to and adding to and adding to until I run out, or until it gets to the size that I want to. I'm not going to run out of sock yarn. I don't even think that would be possible at this point. Keep getting more and more sock yarn. I'm obsessed. I love it. Okay, I did start working on Chomps' next rave hat. So I've been working on my supply of the Big Twist Rave yarn. Chomps got to pick next. He wanted this, is it Electric Citrus, something like that? Indeed it is, Electric Citrus. Big Twist Rave. And he wanted a knit hat with like random interlocking lines. So that's what I've been trying to work out. There we go. I am using some metal knitting needles this time, and it is going much easier. But I will also say, so I do think my problem was the wooden knitting needles I was using. But I've been using this wooden crochet hook with it the whole time, and that is not a problem. It's working wonderfully. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so I'm still working on the hat. I'm on my last kind of couple rounds of decreases for the crown before it finishes, but I haven't worked any more on that jumbled C2C blanket, so I'm not going to share that. We're going to go ahead and get to my finished object. What? Brian has a finished pair of socks. Amazing. So on this one, I actually realized on his first sock, I fully ribbed the toe. And then I was about halfway through this toe when I realized I stopped ribbing the toe. So I asked him if he wanted me to rip it out or if he cared, and he said he didn't care. So I just said, I'm almost done, I'm going to keep going. So I did. So this is Brian's finished sock. Here is the other one. It's very cute. This is a ribbed sock. It's called Simple Ribbed Socks. It's by Woolly_Waves. I got it as a P4A perk a couple of years ago. And this is my first pair of socks I have made for my husband. So there it says Darcy Anderson and then Woolly_Waves. So this pattern is done. We've done that. And I have a very good chunk of this yarn still left. So I will definitely have enough to use that for heels and toes on another pair of socks. And I actually have another yarn that I think it will go great with. So I'm going to pull that together. Now, since I finished that, I did start a new pair of socks, which is the Picnic Basket Scarf. This is again from that same pattern pack from Darcy Anderson, Woolly_Waves. And it's called the Picnic Basket Socks. Now this one has a folded edge and then a basket weave stitch kind of around the cuff and down the front of the foot. I am not going to do a folded cuff on the sock. I don't want it. So I am, however, using some of my Golden Girl sock yarn. So I am using the, isn't it amazing how it can feel so bad but still look so good set of yarn. And, oh, I need to put this. Okay, so the green yarn was from Jelly Beans Yarns. It was called Seaweed. It was hand-dyed yarn. This one is hand-dyed yarns from Trilogy Yarns on their Razzle Dazzle base. So it's the yellow and the blue. I am on round 9 of my cuff. Of my cuff. So I am going to do, for this 2x2 rib, I'm only going to do 10 rounds. So I need to finish round 9, do round 10, and then I'll switch to the yellow and begin the basket weave. And now I read ahead in the pattern, and you're going to be, it's a 4-round repeat, so you need to stop after row 4 or 8. Looking at her example, it looks like she did 12. I'm tempted. I think you can do 20 and get to where you want to be. Yeah, because 20 is divided by 4, 5 times. So, I might try to hit 20 rounds, but that'll be 30 rounds for the whole cuff and leg portion, and I normally only like to do 20 rounds. I think it'll be fine, though. I think it'll be fine. I prefer shorty socks for myself personally, and I'm making those for myself personally because there was question as to how that yarn would feel on feet because it's sparkle yarn, but the hobby socks had a full like strand ply of sparkle throughout. And this is the more tinsely little pieces of sparkle, and I don't know how that's going to feel. I will say this is my first time using that yarn, and it feels so soft and wonderful. It's fabulous. I love it. And Brian is so excited to have his socks. He did tell me he tried this one on, and he loves it. It fits. He just would prefer a longer cuff on his. So for the next pair of socks I make him, I'll make sure he has longer. This one is 1, 2, 3. He had a 30 round cuff. So I think for him, I might try 50 next time and see how he likes that. But there you go. That is all of the projects I have to show you. I did work on Chomps' red sweater, but that's in the basement and I didn't feel like grabbing it. I got very little work done on my Sweet Illusions blanket. I put a couple of rows in on Chomps' Neon Lights blanket, but again, I have to pull, it's attached to the yarn, so I have to pull that out of the pack of yarn, and it was a mess I didn't feel like doing today, so I just didn't do it. What I did do though, okay, we're going to shift to books. So if you don't want to talk books, thank you for stopping by. I loved chatting crafts with you, and let me know what you're working on. What inspires you this time? Have you gotten any new yarn that you like? What's the what? I want to know. But now we're going to talk books. So let's talk books. I finished it. I finished Rogues by, it's an anthology of short stories edited by George R.R. Martin and Gardner Dozois is how I'm going to say it. I really, so I enjoyed this a lot. There were books I skipped, or stories I skipped, and that's okay. So when I left, I was just starting Connie Willis Now Showing. I read maybe the first 10 pages of this, and it just wasn't grabbing me. I wasn't enjoying it, so I quit. So I DNF'd to that short story. And then the next one was Patrick Rothfuss, The Lightning Tree. The entire reason I got this book, the entire reason this book was even on my radar. This is a short story in the King Killer Chronicles universe, and I love that universe. We've talked about it. I've read the 2 main novels, and now he has 2 novellas and this short story. So I believe this short story, The Lightning Tree, is the basis of the next novella, which is called The Narrow Road Between Desires. I have that novella. It's going to be, I'm reading another book now, and then I have one more book in between, and then I'm going to read The Narrow Road Between Desires. So I'll let you know. I loved this story. I absolutely love this story. I love Bast. I love that we had a story centered on him. I wish we learned a little bit more about his backstory, but we learned a little bit more about him. I love his trickster nature, and I love how in tune he is with the kids in the village and how he helps them. I just love it. And there's an especially touching scene in there where he helps a young boy and made me cry. It was very good. But yeah, it was a very good story. It's one of the longest in the book, and that didn't make me mad at all. The final story is from George R.R. Martin. It's called The Rogue Prince, or A King's Brother. A consideration of the early life, adventures, misdeeds, and marriages of Prince Daemon Targaryen, as set down by Archmaester Gildane of the Citadel of Old Town. Okay, so I have read all of the Game of Thrones, all of the A Song of Ice and Fire books. I love them. I love them. I hope we get a Dance with Dragons at some point. And wait, is it Dance of Dragons or is it Winds of Winter? It's Winds of Winter I'm waiting for, right? I don't even remember anymore. It's been so long. Anyway, I love that universe. I was so glad to see another book in it. I have not watched House of Dragon. My belief is House of Dragon might have come out of this short story. The names are so familiar, and the I think this rogue prince might be Matt Smith's character, but again, I haven't seen it, so that excited me. It made me, I had wanted to watch it before, but with the kids in the house, I don't really have the opportunity to watch mommy shows. So it is high on my list to watch when I get the chance to watch it. You might say, well, you and Brian can watch it after the kids go to bed. That time is kind of shorter than we would like, and we're trying to watch Star Wars materials there. So we're in the middle of trying to watch Andor right now, actually, which is a funny story. We tried to watch it in the past and we kind of fell out of it. And I asked Brian, I was like, you know, why did we even stop watching it? What made us walk away? To me, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like a sci-fi adventure, and that's great, but it doesn't feel like Star Wars. And he said, you know, I was so confused because where are the Ewoks? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, the Ewoks, Andor. He had confused Endor with Andor, and I was like, no, Andor is the guy's last name from Rogue One, Cassian Andor. He was like, oh my god, that makes so much more sense. So now that we're on the same page that there probably aren't going to be Ewoks, we've made it a little further into the series. But I still am left going, where's the Star Warsiness? I mean, you have a bit of the Empire. We're on like episode 4, I think. But there isn't any, yeah, like we haven't run into the Jedis. There's the droids. So there's little things, but there's not a lot other than the one character. I've read some theories about it, so I'm interested in what, he's in everything. Why can't I think of the actor's name? He's either Swedish or Norwegian. His son's act. Skelgard. Is it Skelgard? Stellan? Okay, that's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to look that up. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Star Wars. We're here to talk about books. Let's move on, Erin. You're gone off topic. And this was supposed to be short. What have I read next? I said I was going to read the next book in the ACOTAR, the Sarah J. Maas universe, so I am on A Court of Wings and Ruin. What? It sounds so dramatic. So as I said, I wasn't feeling well yesterday. I was very heady. I was very vertigo-y, so I spent a lot of time lying in bed. As showed that I am probably 2/3 done with this book. It is so this book, it's very heavy. The pages are like super duper thin, like Bible pages, and it's a dense book. I guess going back to it, I didn't finish my thoughts on the George R. R. Martin short story. If you like A Song of Ice and Fire, this was a very, very, very good story within it. If you're a fan of the House of Dragon, I believe these are the same characters. And I believe I have 2 other books by George R. R. Martin that I have not read. A Night, something like The Night of the Realm, and then the Blood one, Blood and Fire, Blood and something. I think the Blood and Fire is what they're actually using for the House of Dragon, which I think that might have sprung from this short story. I think that's how it's all tied together. But it's a very, very good short story. It's not, I like the way it's told. It's told as a history kind of set apart. And yeah, I think it's great. A Court of Wings and Ruin. We're continuing the story of Feyre and Rhysand and their battle against the King of Hybern, who's trying to invade. I'm like 2/3 of the way through. This is the 3rd book, so I don't want to give too much of the plot away, but they are well into planning for the war. There's already been some skirmishes and some bloodshed. It's good. So I know these books are kind of touted as being very, I don't like the word smut, but I know it's been described as that. a lot of people will talk about spicier books, and this book series comes up. There are open door romance scenes. They are not... I'm 2/3 of the way through this book. I feel like they are skippable if you're a person who doesn't enjoy romance scenes and want to skip them. If you are someone who enjoys romance scenes, I think you'll enjoy the romance scenes. If you are someone who wants no spice, no romance in their books, this is not a series for you. It is set kind of in, it's got fae, it's got humans, it's got different, I'm going to say mythical beings. Supernatural might be a better word. Anyway, it's kind of set in a fae, in a fairy tale type settings. The first book, Akotar, A Court of Thorns and Roses, is very much a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. From there isn't a real parallel where that's held through. But, so it's not like I say, oh, this one's a retelling of Aladdin. No, not that I can see. But, there might be someone smarter than me out there saying, oh, Erin, no, it is a retelling of so-and-so. Let me know! But I'm enjoying it. It's a fun, quick read, as you can see. It is not as dense. It is not Bible pages. This is 700 pages long, I think. 699 pages long. So it's a bigger read, but it doesn't feel draining. One issue with this, why I think it took me so long, is because each short story is set in a different world. It's not like you read a chapter and you're just, you know, gunning to read the next one because you want to know what happens, because that story's over. I feel like you need to rest, digest, get mentally prepared to enter a new world before you read the next story. So I had to take breaks before the next story here. This I'm just, oh, let's see what happens next. Let's see what happens next. Let's keep going. So, yeah, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. Up next, after this book, I am going to pick one of the kind of singleton books I had on my shelf, and I realized I used to love the Philippa Gregory Tudor books, and I think she's written in the Tudor, all the Henry VIII books, but it's not about Henry VIII, it's about the wives, right? So I was looking at them, and I realized I had a book of hers that I had never read, The Other Queen. So she is famously the author of The Other Boleyn Girl. And she's got tons of books in that series talking about the other queens. I believe she was the author of the books that all those Stars shows were about. The White Queen, the Red Queen, the Spanish Queen. I think there's another one. Is it the Serpent Queen they're doing now? I don't know if that's in the same world, though. I don't know about the Serpent Queen, but I believe the White Queen, Red Queen, and Spanish Queen were all kind of based on the Philippa Gregory books. Yeah, but anyway, I loved her books. I haven't read one in a very long time. It's been probably a decade. So I'm going to be interested to see if my reading preferences have shifted, if I'm going to still enjoy this, or if I'm not, if I've kind of moved out of that phase in reading and moved to another one. So I'll let you know. I don't think this book will be long on the TBR list. I think it'll be TBR'd. But I did realize I'm horrible at updating my Goodreads. So if you're friends with me on Goodreads, you might have seen a flurry of activity yesterday or the day before. I don't know. It's a blur. It's a blur. Like I said, I was not doing good yesterday. Okay, so we are not going to dwell on any of that. We're going to look forward. We're going to have a good week. We're going to have a great week, Erin. I'm not letting anything stop me. Yeah, I just want to enjoy summer. Check out my Furl's birthday haul giveaway. I'll be posting about that again next week. Other than that, there was some new yarns on the Joann website. I got my hands on them and they have been delivered. I'm going to try to get that video posted tomorrow, but I haven't even opened the boxes yet, so we'll see. We'll see how things go. I am not pushing myself today. I'm going to be kind to myself since I was so off yesterday. I'm worried about triggering something again today. So being gentle. Love you all. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know if you have any suggestions for me. I'm very eclectic in my reading. About the only thing I don't tend to enjoy is nonfiction. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but if it's a very interesting topic, I will. And I don't tend to read a lot of like westerns or things like that, but if someone says this book is really, really good, I'm there for it. I will give it a try. It's anything is worth a try for me. Oh, I thought maybe I could fit this back in the sleeve, but I can't. It's still too fat to go into the sleeve. Maybe I can shove this in the middle if I go like this. Maybe. Oh, the kids were so excited when I got the winder out for the trilogy yarns. They're like, can I do it? Of course you can do manual labor. There we go. Sweet. Go put that back on the shelf for the next pair of socks. Okay. Talk to you later.